Hi guys, so this is the story of Riziki Cherono, a Kenyan lady who was married to Herman Rowenhorst, a Dutch businessman and millionaire. Okay, Riziki moved from a town called Eldoret, which is her hometown, in search of better opportunities in the coastal side of Kenya, in Mombasa specifically. She wasn't able to secure employment in her hometown, so she figured if she moved to the coastal side, she might land an opportunity. Unfortunately, she didn't find any employment, so she started hanging out with a group of friends who are club hopping and enjoyed the nightlife. These friends introduced her to this life and they started hanging out in high end clubs where there were rich white men. Basically, her friends taught her how to nab rich white men. And in this process, she met Herman Rowenhorst in the club and they went home and they had a one night stand. Uh, Fortunately, Herman liked Riziki and they started hanging out more. They went out more, drank more, smoked together, and one thing led to another, and Riziki had their first child. Okay, so in this process, Herman bought a lot of clubs and entertainment joints, and so he became wealthier. He became very wealthy, okay? And he had already planned his retirement, so he knew he had money. And he gave Riziki, his wife, although not legally, to the opportunity to manage and run the clubs, okay? And Riziki did so well, and she even invited her friend called Mary Nekesa to help her manage the club. So they made good money, and after like some time, they had their second baby. That is Riziki and Herman Reynolds had their second baby. Okay, but in between these times, it is said that from the neighbors that they had a toxic relationship. Yeah, they always arguing, fighting, and plus Herman Roenhorst had a reputation for being friendly towards men and being quite abusive and violent towards Kenyan women. Yeah, so this would actually just show how he treated Riziki. Okay, and as time went by, it got to a point where Herman said, You know what? Um, I would like us to separate." But Riziki didn't think it was that serious, so she actually asked him for a car. She asked him to buy her a car, and Ronald said, "You know what? There's no point of buying you a car when we are gonna get divorced eventually." Okay? So Riziki just kept silent and moved on with her life. They still stayed together. They even owned rental apartments. Yeah. So Herman went and bought himself a boat worth 5 million Kenyan shillings. That is approximately around maybe $50,000. Yes. And when Riziki saw this, she realized this man was dead serious about divorcing her and leaving her with nothing. Okay? Just for her to raise the kids by herself. And this just hit it so deeply, it cut her so deeply, and she realized this man didn't care about her and he wasn't going to take care of her. Considering that using her Kenyan citizenship, she helped him secure properties, yes, yeah, properties around the coastal region. And when Riziki saw this, she took it so personally and she said, You know what? I need to do something to secure myself because this man is going to leave me dry and, find somebody else. And he's going to leave me with the kids to raise them by myself. So Riziki one night when she was drunk and she called up her best friend Mary Nekesa, who was also one of the former managers of the clubs that Herman Roenhorst owned. And she went to her place and they discussed it. And she was like, You know what, girl, I need to tell you something. I need to get it off my chest. Yeah. And Mary was like, Yeah, girl, tell me what's up. What's up? And she opened up to her and told her, you know what, I feel like Herman wants to dump me with the kids and leave me with nothing. He's making me feel used, and and he's not taking care of me. I really don't like this, yeah. And he has asked for a divorce, and I think he plans to leave me with nothing. I asked him to buy me a car. He refused. He said I wouldn't need it because we're gonna get divorced, yeah. And well, Mary, being her best friend, she's like, you know what, we're friends, we ride together, we die together, baby, yeah. I got you, girl. So they started plan, and she was like, okay, so what's the plan, what do you want to do? And Rizika was like, I want him gone. Mary was like, what? She's like, yes, I want him gone because I want everything. So Mary was like, you know what, girl, I'm your friend, let's do this. So Mary, being a resident of coast for the coastal region, Mombasa, that is, for a long time, she knew her way around, who was who, she knew, yeah. So she reached out to one of the most ruthless gangsters. His name is Rashid. He has so many aliases. Rashid, but he's known as Rashid. In other places, he's known as Timothy Omondi. Okay, so she reached out to him and told him, hey, I got a job for you. It's high end and it's going to pay you well. And she explained everything to him. And Rashid was like, you know what, let's get this done. But I want a deposit of 600,000. And Riziki was excited. She made the deposit and they got to work. So they planned that Rashid would come and with his friends and act as if they're robbers. So what Riziki did, she invited Mary over for a sleepover at their mansion, and Mary was given the guest room near the door so that she could open the back door for Rashid and his gangsters to have access, while Riziki and Rowenhorst were sleeping in their master bedroom and the kids in the other room. So that's what happened. So Mary planned everything, and when it was go time, Rashid actually invited his friends. But initially, they had actually visited the mansion under the disguise of being delivery guys, so that they could survey the area and look out for the best entry points. Okay. So Mary, on the night of the day of the plan to be executed, Mary opened the back door, and Rashid and his friends got in. They got in and they went upstairs immediately to where Herman Royenhorst was sleeping with his wife. They found him there and they beat him to death. They beat him mercilessly until he died. Okay? And then they tied up Riziki, and they took her to one of Herman's cars, and they drove off. But before they left, they actually broke into Herman's safe and they stole about 3 million Kenya shillings, and then they left with Riziki. When they left with Riziki, they tied her up, her hands and her legs. And then they got to a place where there were police officers. They left Riziki in the car and they quickly got out and ran away and went into hiding. So Riziki stayed in the car screaming for help, begging for help. And when the police officers heard her screams, and they noticed, a woman and a car that was left open with the headlights flicking, they actually, went to see what was going on. They found Riziki tied up, screaming and begging for help. So they helped her and took her to the police station. She registered, kidnap and robbery with violence. So they visited her home to investigate everything, to check if there were valuables that were stolen. She told them, yeah, they broke into the safe, they stole some money and valuables, and they killed my husband. And that's when they found Mr. Rowenhorst's lifeless body bleeding profusely on the floor. So as this was going on, because this is now a murder case and it was opened, they began their investigations. Meanwhile, Riziki was happy and now she made more than enough money and she went and bought herself a new Mercedes Benz. Yes, a new Mercedes Benz, and she was driving it around. But word has it on the ground that Riziki actually began, like, talking to herself, and she was drinking and smoking even way beyond than the amount she used to take. Yeah. People say that whatever she did was haunting her. The spirit of her husband was haunting her, yeah, and stuff like that. But she bought the car that she wanted. Now she was the one running the businesses, and owning the apartments. But it didn't take long before the police actually discovered the truth. Of course, there were CCTV cameras, and even when they were investigating, they found that there was no struggle during the break-in. Yes, and they even wondered why is it that the security guard did not hear Riziki screaming. And the kids also, yes, the two kids also actually confessed that they overheard the conversations between Mary and their mom, Riziki. Yes. So, well, the police officers tracked down Rashid, the main thug, and along with Mary, yeah, Nekesa, and they were arraigned in court, and they carried out, fingerprint investigations in the house, and the kids actually, they say that, yeah, they overheard the conversations. So the kids were taken into police custody and they were put in foster homes. Yes, and Mary Nekesa, along with Rashid, were arraigned in court. They were incarcerated. The case is still ongoing. Yeah, even Riziki was arrested, but she was released on a cash bond of 2 million Kenya shillings. However, the case is still going on, so she's still back and forth in court. Yes. So yeah, well, that's just how it was. Yeah, it was all about wealth. And people still say, people who knew Riziki and who still know Riziki, they say that she still drinks a lot. She drinks a lot. It's like she lost everything, because being a murder suspect in the club owners or business owners, murder case, or yes, a case like that, she is not like allowed to run the businesses. Yeah, so Herman Ronhorst family took over the businesses, and she was put out, and the kids were taken from her, so it's like she lost everything. Riziki lost everything. Yeah. So the case is still ongoing. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe to hear more about more crime stories around the world. Thank you.